What's up, guys? Today, this Wavlink AC600 range extender for the Wi-Fi. So it's 2.4 gig over here and 5 gig here. A lot of people say it's shit, but I disagree. Maybe it's not completely waterproof because it is only IP65. We got a Ethernet cable here, and their injector is proprietary, so we'll take a look down over here. So what I have is the power plug coming in here, and then the Ethernet from my computer coming in over here, and then the other, it's Cat 5E, so RJ45 cable. And you have a little light here and a switch here. So the switch has to be pressed. If it's not, your LEDs are not on. So when you press this on, these are going to light up, and there's other videos out there. This takes a little bit. That, I mean, nobody explains anything. Everybody does it half-assed. They're mounting it on freaking, metal and everything, and you're not supposed to. You're supposed to mount this up as high as possible, and from inside where my one mesh pod is, I'm reaching down over 35 yards, probably closer to 45 yards, and the speed, the latency, all of that stuff is really, decent. I get like 150 megs per second from my provider, and I was reaching down there at 93, something a little over 93, and then sometimes it drops out down to around 27. But again, Wi-Fi fluctuates even with the mesh system itself. So all of these are going to light up, and then this one here is going to start blinking at your Ethernet. And I do have all my Wi-Fi pods wired together Ethernet wise, and the way you'll hook something up like this to a mesh system is after we set this up, which is what this whole video is about. But I want to touch on this because so many people just leave it the fuck out, and it's disgusting. You would plug the Ethernet cable in here, your live Ethernet cable from your switch, your passive switch, or a mesh pod. And then this, on my mesh system, I have one port open that has a world on it, and you can look for the mesh system I have on my channel. I have how to reset that. So the other end of this cable will go into the world. You'll have to go into connections on your phone or whatever you're using your desktop and switch back and forth because it doesn't integrate into the mesh system itself. So the first and foremost thing is we got to get into the gateway of this and set it up as an access point. I don't recommend a repeater because a repeater it's just terrible on the bandwidth. Alright, so a little change of plans here. I got to use the cell phone. I don't have wireless on my other computer, and I'm not going to go through the adapter. So same deal here. Power, and then the Ethernet cable, that's going to run over to this switch. It's just a passive switch. It's going to feed the Ethernet signal into here, and then this one again goes to here. So let's take a look over at the phone now. Alright, so in your browser you're going to go ahead and you're going to type in 192.168.10.1. It's the only gateway address that I got to work with this. Alright, so another thing about this, it does have a reset button right here. If you hold that in, all your lights over here will go out. Once they go out, you hold it in and then they come back on. Now, as per their instructions, it doesn't quite work that way. What I have to do after that's done is either disconnect this cable and then reconnect it and then wait for all of that, and then I can reset the thing because that resets it to factory default. The other thing I reached out to support for is when you open like a browser on your phone, I haven't tried it on the computer, but it's 192.168.10.1. So 192.168.10.1. That's the only gateway that I got to work with this. Once you set this up, you can't get back in there to change anything. So they suggest to clear your cookies and your cache and stuff like that. I have not tried that. The next thing you want to do is go to your Wi-Fi section. Wi-Fi, your connections, you're going to have two of them. One's for 2.4 gig and one's for 5G. The N, the one, look for the N, that's the one you're going to click on. First you got to do this, so always connect. Then it's connected without internet. So now we can go back to that other page. So here's our browser. Now it's going to load up. And then simply click here. Now this is where it differs. So they must have had firmware updates, which is another thing. I'm reaching out to them, and I got to check and see if this is the firmware, because if it's not the newest and you're having issues with dropping and everything, that's what they recommend. So all you're going to do here is type in admin. It's going to log in. And then your country, you're going to set that. And then over here, I'm on the East Coast. So we're going to scroll up here. We're going to look for -5. So that's the one we're going to set there. And then we're going to go ahead and set a password. This is the password to get into the gateway. So once you have your passwords, and I suggest you use a good strong one, you click next. And then mine, I'm going to name backyard range, and the reason for that is I got a shooting range out back, so I want to know what's going on down my range. Leave this on WPA2 PSK. It's recommended. That's the strongest protection. Now here, this is where you're going to put in your password for your router. Once that's in, you're going to go ahead and click save. Now this is going to pop up. Okay, so once that's finished, all you're going to do is click refresh. You're not going to get anything because now it's switched off. We got to go back into the Wi-Fi section. When you come back into the Wi-Fi section, you're going to have to rescan for your Wi-Fi. Sometimes it takes a little bit. Okay, so now you can see backyard range. We're going to click on that, and then you're going to enter your router password again. Once you got that entered, you're going to click connect. So now you're going to be connected to whatever you named it. So for example, we're connected to the backyard firing range. We come back over to this site, we click reload. It's going to get us back to here. But now you're putting that password to get back into your router, extender, access point, whatever you want to call it. So you're going to go ahead and type that in. Once you got that, you're going to log in. Now you're going to see a different screen. All right, so now this is the main interface with the Wavlink AC600. Over here in the upper right hand corner, if you click that, you're going to click wireless, and you can do some settings here. Pretty much I left everything default, and then advanced is just going to show you your 2.4 and then your 5G. And then if you save it, it's going to reboot it. It's going to kick you back off, and you're going to have to log back in. So if you click the hamburger menu again, we can go down to advanced. And this is the part right here where you can do mode selection. So AP mode, and then choose mode selection. You have the repeater, the access point, and then the modem. So when you do that, whatever you select, you click next, it will reboot and kick you back out. If we go back into here, somewhere in here is supposed to be a firmware update, and I'm not seeing it. This will just turn your LEDs off, which I don't see a reason. This will reset your device, and then you have your admin password. So if we click on that, you can go ahead and change that, which I don't want to. And then the signal adjustment right here, you have, and that's the broadcasting. So it automatically on high, and I suggest leaving it that way. And then timing reboots, I'm not interested in that. You can click your time zone here, And that's all I found in here. It's pretty straightforward. I don't really see anything else. The only other thing is this PUC PC, it's the IU for a PC. You can change that and you can have it smaller and you can kind of blow it up and then just have your, like, you can see wireless advanced phone IU, and I suggest using the phone IU. It's just much easier. The other thing I do want to say is your channel. I would leave that to automatic. That means it's going to switch to the best channel. That goes for 2.4 and 5G. The other thing is the bandwidth. I'd leave that set at 40 megahertz, and then, I mean, that comes default anyway. So if we click device, all that's going to do is allow you to reboot the Wavlink and log out of it. And I don't know if you could see that, but that firmware is old, so this should be updated to the newest, and it might change some stuff and give better reliability. But again, there's no icon, so I got to figure that out. That's pretty much all there is to it. And if I come up with a way to update the firmware, if yours doesn't have it, I'll post the video. Again, you want to mount this somewhere outside. I wouldn't mount it directly outside where it's going to get hit with a lot of weather. Mount it under something. Just stay away from metal, because the metal is going to, you know, block the strength. A lot of people are having problems with it and saying it's junk and this and that, and that's because they don't know how to mount it. You don't want to lay this horizontal either, because it's like a donut broadcast. You don't want that. You want it vertical, where it's, you know, sending out the signal that way, because you're going to have a big hole and your devices aren't going to pick it up.